We've got Amit Malviya who joins us at this stage. Thanks, Mr. Malviya, very much for being with us. I'm looking at
Bengal
10
numbers.
Separate polls, in fact. And in all 10 polls, it's 350 plus, with one of them giving the BJP a single number of 400. Is this beyond your expectations, or do you believe that this the upper level, close to 400, perhaps even 400, is still realistic?
Vishnu, this is pretty much in line with what we have been saying since the beginning of the election. Prime Minister had said that we will look to get to 370 on our own, and the NDA would touch 400 mark, and that is what directionally most exit polls seem to be suggesting. So we were quite excited about the result on the 4th of June, because we are quite certain that the mandate is overwhelmingly going to be in favor of Prime Minister Modi, and he'll become the only Prime Minister in independent India's history to come back for a third consecutive mandate with an increased seat tally and vote share. No other Prime Minister in India has ever achieved this, not just in India, but even globally. There is no match for an accomplishment like this.
Mr. Malviya, since you're also in charge of the state of West Bengal, you have been in and out of Bengal, managing your party's affairs. Let me ask a specific question with regards to Bengal. The numbers, of course, are that you are doing better than 2019, but perhaps not as good as the party's own estimate has been, which was around 30. In fact, Axis and a number of other pollsters have been careful. They have not released the Bengal numbers because 9 seats went to polls. What is how are you looking at these numbers?
Well, Axis has released their number. I was just on their channel, and they have projected that the BJP will win between 26 and 31 seats in West Bengal, and the number for the TMC is between 11 and 14. But like I said, I would wait for the 4th of June, but I'm not surprised by the fact that the BJP will emerge as the single largest party in West Bengal, and let me give you the reasons for that. Ever since Mamata Banerjee won a third term in 2021, which was followed by horrific post-poll violence, and then a spate of corruption one after the other, lawlessness, and most recently Sandesh Khali, which is a blot on Mamata Banerjee's legacy, and the recent court ruling which struck down minority reservation for the OBCs. There's nothing that has gone in favor of West Bengal. Not just these events in the last 3 years, but if you look at West Bengal, under Mamata Banerjee, the state hasn't seen a single reform. Education is in peril. Perhaps it's the only state where the entire education department today is in jail because they see recruitment scam. More than 51 crore cash was recovered from Mamata Banerjee's close aide and Minister Partha Chatterjee. Then you had the Russian scam. You had strongmen like Anubrato Mandal and Sheikh Shah Jahan being arrested for various crimes. You had Sheikh Shah Jahan violating women of Sandesh Khali since 2011, and Mamata Banerjee turning a blind eye to it. And when the matter came to fore, she, instead of acting against the perpetrators, defended Sheikh Shah Jahan and dragged her feet for almost 3 months before the courts intervened and the central agencies stepped in. The recent ruling which struck the minority reservation in OBC has all gone against Mamata Banerjee. West Bengal is the only state in this entire election which has seen about 960 million voters to have a political murder. A BJP Karyakarta in Sandesh Khali was shot in cold blood at around 5:30 just when the election was closing. Now with this kind of lawlessness, this kind of lack of governance, no reforms, obviously people of West Bengal are fed up, and that is exactly what you are seeing in the numbers that have emerged from West Bengal. And another very interesting insight on Bengal, that is the only state where the BJP's vote share between 2019 Lok Sabha and 2021 Assembly election did not change materially. It remained at about 40%, and that is quite unique because generally if Prime Minister Modi is on the ticket, there is a big upsurge in the state. But the BJP vote block is so consolidated in Bengal and has now obviously grown because the various projections that have come show the BJP's vote share at 46% and Mamata Banerjee's party down to 40% from 43 earlier. So that is a massive shift away from the TMC.
Sure.
And I'm quite certain this momentum will continue in the next assembly election whenever it happens.
I just wanted to ask you one final question. As somebody who tracks social media as closely as you do, in the battle of narratives, it appears that the BJP has come out very strongly despite a very strong social media narrative which the BJP was also pitching. Now, it's also wrong to assume that everybody consumes social media. But if I was to ask you, would this be an important factor in people making up their minds in the battle of narratives on social media, how would you respond?
Look, one can't deny that social media today is a very powerful medium, but you also have to understand that you can't wake up 3 months before the election and get active on social media. Just like governance, just like running an organization, or for that matter, perpetuating the narrative or the discourse is an ongoing process. Unfortunately, the BJP does not believe in peacetime. We are constantly working, taking to the people our message, the ideological message, the governance stories, and it's a 24/7 thing. If the Prime Minister works as hard as he does, then there's no reason for us in the party to let him down. And so we also work perhaps not as hard as him, but we try and catch up with him. And that's what we've been doing all the last 10 years, and that is what you see really play out. But as you get closer to the election, then your field work, your traditional means, your organization, your social media, everything has to come together. But unfortunately, for the opposition, it seemed that nothing seemed to work for them. They don't have the leadership, they don't have a policy, they don't have a way forward. On the contrary, you have Prime Minister Modi, who has a delivery track record of last 10 years. He has articulated what he intends to do over the next 5 years. He's also articulated a vision for the next 25 years till 2047. Okay. So why would people not vote for a man who has materially changed their life, has given them hope, has ensured development and prosperity? He's uplifted the sentiment of the country as a collective. Today, India is seen as this new rising bloc in the world order. It has a completely new security and a defense paradigm. It is seen as a very lucrative destination. Manufacturing is booming. Unemployment is at the lowest. Inflation is at the lowest. We have just clocked 8.2% GDP growth. Our forex reserves are all-time high. Our exports are all-time high. It is all showing in the mandate. I mean, there is a very big section of Labharti who have benefited from his governance program. So there is really no one who has not been touched by his governance. It is an emotive government. It's a government that delivers. It's a government that has people connect. And Prime Minister Modi himself continues to remain as popular as he is after being in public life for over 20 years and as Prime Minister now for a decade. Okay. And I'm sure the coming 5 years are going to be one where he will do wonders for the country, and we all will sort of live in a country which we always aspired for, a country that's developed, it's forward looking, is something that is respected around the world. So we're in for good times.
All right, Amit Malviya, wonderful speaking to you. Thanks so much for joining us.